Hello.
Hi everyone.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Loving BDSM. Back for, finally, another 5 things you ought to know. Insert BDSM topic here. And this time we're talking about 5 things we think you should know about vetting a new partner. Okay, y'all, so let's do one thing first before we get into this. What the heck do we mean by vetting a new partner? So some people are very familiar with that term,
Right.
Some people are not. Essentially, it means figuring out for yourself if this is a partner that you want to get into DS with, you want to have a scene with, you want to interact with on a more intimate level. Is this person going to be your new dominant or submissive? Are they going to be the person who ties you up at the dungeon? You're going to do something kinky with them, or you think you will, but you've got to figure out if they're the one you want to do it with.
And you want to figure out if they're safe, if they're going to respect you, if they're going to follow your safe words, different things like that. Those are all very important things.
Right. And so the expression a lot of us use is vetting a new partner. So that's what we mean. Okay.
Ready? Okay. Number 1, check their online profiles.
So there's a good chance you're going to meet online. Whether you do or don't, check them online. What I usually look for, and it depends on where I'm meeting them. If I meet somebody on Twitter, I'm going to go through their Twitter feed and see what kind of things they say, who they interact with, how they interact with other people. One of the tricks I use for FetLife, and somebody's going to get mad and I don't care, but I'm going to say it. And it is always a cisgender man. I'm not lying. It is always a cisgender man. When a man randomly messages me on FetLife, first of all, we have protocols in place where I know how to handle that anyway. But when they randomly message me and they, do that scintillating, hey, right? I'll go look at their profile. Or I get a random friend request. I'll go look at their profile. I'm looking for a couple of things. I'm looking for a variety of friends and followers, meaning that they're engaging with all kinds of people in different ways. And I'm looking at their profile pic. If their profile pic is a dick pic, I'm not here for it because I'm not interested. And right or wrong, because we all have to have a process to eliminate and make time and space in our lives. If every single one of those men's friends or followers are these really young, really petite, really sexy, really naked pictures of cisgender women profiles, I'm probably not going to engage. I was probably not going to anyway. But that is a thing I'm looking for. Not because there's anything wrong with that, because there's not. It's about who I think this person might be at first glance. Do I want to interact with them? So check their online profiles. What kinds of things do they say? Who are they talking to? Are they getting into random Twitter fights that you think, oh, why? That's another thing I use on Twitter. You don't necessarily need to judge somebody by the friends they keep, but it does give you an idea of who you're dealing with.
Number 2, talk to past partners.
You won't always get to do this. Sometimes you don't have a clue who their past partners are. But if you do, maybe you met them at the munch. Maybe you've watched them play with other people. You were at a club together, or you know who they are friends with or interact with online. If you can, if it's an option, talk to past partners. Find out how safe were they? How respectful were they? How did they negotiate? Did they honor limits? Did they constantly check in? Ask about their behavior. Now, you cannot demand that a past partner tell you what you want to know. And again, this is one that is not always an option because we meet random people on the internet every day. It's a great one if you're meeting somebody in your local community, because then people are going to know people. And somebody is going to be able to go, oh, that's who you're talking to? The last person they played with was this person. And then maybe you reach out on FET, maybe you introduce yourself at a munch, but you ask, and you ask serious questions, but you keep an open mind. The downside to talking to too many past partners is you might hear the worst of a person and not learn what the other person's involvement was with that. So if it was a bad breakup, you might get all the dirt, and the person you're talking to comes off looking like a saint, and maybe they're not. But it is something to do as part of the process.
It's an option, yes.
Right, to try to figure out what kind of person you're dealing with.
Number 3, ask about their local community. Are they involved in the local community? Do they attend munches? Do they attend socials?
Right, and here's the thing. If you meet them in the local community, you will probably have these answers pretty quickly. If you meet online, not everybody is out in their local community, and that is valid. We talk about that all the time.
Right.
But if they are, especially if they spend a lot of time telling you about all their experience, find out if they are, see if they'll share where they're going, not because you're supposed to be stalking them. If you are in their local area, then go to those events if you can, talk to the people who organize those events. Then you can say, hey, do you know such and such? And they can tell you, no, I've never heard of that person in my life. Oh, did you really go to that munch? Or they can go, oh yeah, this person, they're a great person. Or, yeah, maybe you should talk to these past partners, and they'll send you some information. Even if there's miles between you, you can still do this, because nearly every munch, community event, workshop, dungeon is on FetLife. Most of them just are. And you can always go find them on FetLife, reach out to the organizer, ask. It's part of, and most experienced kinksters will not even blink at this. You say, look, I'm vetting this person. I need to know if they're real. I need to know if they're a safe kinkster. Most people are going to go, oh, I totally get that. And they might, again, like I said, send you on and go, you should go talk to this person or that person. They know them really well. And then you have more sort of references or past partners to talk to as well. But if they're telling you that they do all this stuff in the local community, trust but verify, okay? Go find out for yourself. It's not that hard. If you have their FetLife name, you can ask somebody, hey, do you know this person? Hey, do they come to your events? Are they really an instructor for your event? You can also check and see if they are RSVPing for events on FetLife and if they're going and all those kinds of things. So don't be afraid to do a little bit of digging, especially when somebody throws out the claim that they're heavily involved in their local community. Go find out for yourself to make sure that they are who they say they are.
Right. Number 4, pay attention to their actions and behavior.
So anybody can say anything. I have met many, many, many kinksters who know, especially online, how to use all the right words. They watch people like us and Evie Lupin and other kinksters, and they go, oh, those are the things I'm supposed to say. And then they say them. And then they don't actually live that. Sometimes people are just manipulators and they talk good game, and then you find out that they're not consistent, or communication isn't important to them, or they're going to ghost you for weeks at a time. So the words matter, their profiles matter, who they're talking to, that all matters. But their actions, their behaviors, and the patterns of those actions and behaviors matter most. So if somebody tells you over and over again how important communication is to them, and then you don't hear from them for a week, is it really important to them? I don't know. Probably not. If somebody talks about how they have all this experience in the kink world, but then you ask a basic question about a kink they say that they know, and they can't, they don't even have the answer, or you are telling them things that you know to be true about a kink and they have never heard it, pay attention to those things. Those things can be more telling than you realize. Now, not everybody is a smooth talker and can explain themselves easily, and some people are more awkward online than they are in person. Some are more awkward in person than they are online, and you do want to kind of be understanding of those things. But once you start adding all of these things up, what do people say about them? What do their online profiles look like? Are you catching them in small white lies? Well, then once you start paying attention to how their actions and behaviors stack up against their words, you get a bigger picture of who you're dealing with.
Number 5, meet first in public.
So a lot of us do not take this advice. John Brownstone and I met for the first time in my townhouse where I lived at the time. Now, we had spent months and months and months talking. You had opened up your entire life to me.
Right.
I Google stalked you like a good 21st century person
I even told you to do a background check on.
Right.
Yes.
But if you don't have those levels of experience, Or if one or both of you are pushing to meet as soon as possible, make it in a public space first. At the Munch is great if you have access to local community. At your BDSM dungeon, quite frankly, that's not a bad one either. It's not perfect, but it's not bad because most BDSM dungeons that allow people to sort of join, they're doing background checks, they're getting driver's license, they know who you are.
Right.
That can be a little reassuring. But a coffee shop, a restaurant, a bookstore, like it does not matter. Meet in a public space first and let somebody know where you're going and that you're going to meet somebody. You don't have to tell them you're going to meet up for like some kinky fuckery. Just tell a friend or a person you trust, hey, I'm going to meet a new person. We're going to meet here at this time. You know, if I send you a text that says, you know, SOS, call me, tell me I got to leave, help me get out of there. Or, you know, if you don't hear from me, this is called a safe call.
Right.
If you don't hear from me by this time, call my phone. If I don't answer, call 911. Okay? That keeps you safe because sadly, in the kink world, just like in the vanilla world, there are predators everywhere. And there are people who are relying on people's excitement over the kink to stop them from doing due diligence and investigating and using maybe their intuition or their past experiences to go, whoa, maybe that's a little bit of stranger danger there, and maybe that's not the person I should be with, because some of us, especially those of us who get caught up in frenzy, sub-frenzy specifically, will sometimes throw all caution to the wind, all good sense goes out the window, and we're like, yes, I'm about to go get my kink on, except that person is terrifying and doing nothing correctly and is definitely not the one you should be with. So when you meet for the first time, make it a public space. Make sure somebody else knows where you are and knows when things should be over. And if it goes great and you're like, oh, let me send a text to my friend so they know they don't have to worry about me. Hey, it went great. Here's where we're going to next. I'll talk to you later. That's fine too, but that keeps you safe.
Now, I just want to say real quick, vetting is something that has been around in the BDSM and the kink lifestyle for many, many years.
Forever.
One of the things, it is more commonly emphasized that the sub-bottom vet the new dom or top.
Usually because of the danger, potential danger.
Vetting goes both ways. All right? It is acceptable for the sub-bottom to vet the top. Tops, doms, you can vet your potential play partner, submissives.
You
bottoms,
should.
And you should.
You should. Somebody can say that they're anything that they want to say that they are, and none of it be true.
So the vetting goes both ways. This is not just something for submissives or bottoms to do. Everybody needs to be safe.
Right. And vetting, I can't speak to the very origins of it, but it is part of the process of making sure this is an actual kinkster and not some weird person trying to infiltrate your kinky life. That's from like 100 years ago. I'd say 100 years ago.
Well,
many years ago, before we had online spaces and you just put your munch on FetLife and anybody with a FetLife account can find it. And now that is still part of it. You know, there are still communities, there are still groups that will kind of make sure, no, you really are who you say you are. You really are kinky. You're not somebody trying to, you know, break anonymity and privacy and out somebody for being kinky. That's rare, but that does still happen. And it's morphed over time, I think, more to be about making sure you're dealing with a safe, sane, consensual partner who is who they say they are, especially in a world where we are all connected online and we can all make a profile and we can all steal an image from Google and say that that is who we are.
Right.
You know, there has to be a process. And many of us, and I would say, quite frankly, people who are younger than us, who have those of you who were born and raised with internet presences, we have had to adapt to this over time. You might even be savvier about figuring out somebody is or isn't who they say they are. But we all need to be reminded of these things, especially since the excitement behind getting kinky, finding a play partner, being dom, being sub, can sometimes overwhelm and cloud our better judgment. And we will do things that we would not normally do in any other situation because we're so excited or we are so impatient to explore this side of ourselves. And it is worth always remembering to slow down and take a few minutes to kind of figure out if this person is mostly who they say they are. And if you are the type of person who feels like you can kind of trust your intuition, even if you don't always, but you feel like you can, I'm a big believer in doing that as well. If something don't feel right, run in the other direction, okay? Because there's a reason something doesn't feel right. Not everybody can listen to their intuition that way. I've had to kind of learn that from listening to other people. But if you feel like you are that person, use that too. Just listen to the gut, listen to the inner voice that goes,
Yes.
danger, Will Robinson, danger, danger. Did I just show how old I am by using that reference? It's fine, it's fine. So that is what we have to say about vetting a potential partner. For those of you who have gone through the process, leave a comment below with other things that you think people need to remember and to do. If you have ever vetted somebody and discovered they weren't who they said they were, feel free, if you feel comfortable, to leave your experience. Tell us about that in the comment below. And if you have questions about this, or bad experiences, or just some things you're not quite sure of, go ahead, ask those questions in the comments below. We will link in the description box to other resources to help you kind of figure this stuff out, how to sort of navigate the kinky community, stuff like that, so that you can learn more if you find yourself in this position. So that's it for us. If you like this insanity of ours, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.
Hit that notification bell. You know you want to, because you know you want to know when we upload new content.
No pressure, y'all. No pressure. And if you really, really like what we do, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/KaylaLords.